So the world is filled with events. Things happen. Trees fall in the forest, schools open or close, factories, people get married and take up living together, or don't get married and take up living together, and they start changing the world from those events. Whatever event, you can apply this way of thinking to anything, because it is holistic thinking and systems thinking. So what it is doing is what I criticize the regular economy for not doing. It is taking a look at all the forces and all the factors, and it's costing it properly and evaluating and connecting everything up. So we begin at phase 1, here with this observing interact. That's the first directive. Wherever you are, you need to pay attention. We need to observe. That's the beginning of any process. You get to gather information before you can make any changes, and the interact part is recognition that modern science has proven to us that there is no such thing as detached observer. Even at the molecular level, when we observe electrons moving, we can't know everything about them. There is fundamentally a mystery at the center of the universe. But we are involved in it, which is the good news. We are interacting with our ecosystem. It's responding to us, and you can really find this out clearly for yourself if you go out into nature, and as soon as you arrive, everybody who is doing something out there will stop doing it. And by everybody, I mean the squirrels and the birds. They'll just stop. They'll get quiet, and it'll be like, chill out, predators. They can only do that so long because that's where they work. They got to get back to work. So about 20 minutes later, if you sit still, they will start chattering and foraging and fleeting about. Then now you're part of the system. Your eyes are there, taking it in. Your consciousness has embraced it. You are integrated with it. That's a metaphor, if you will, for what we need to do with our own home landscapes, in our communities and neighbourhoods. Observe, recognizing that you're also part of a system. Interact. The second phase, second principle, is to catch, store energy. Everything in nature runs on energy, and the energy storage in nature, well, there are several, but the big ones are carbon and water. And we also see that nature stores energy in the form of information, and that's largely DNA, and even at the higher levels, it is culture and learnt behaviours. We convey old cultures symbolically. We write things down and leave it for our descendants long do not have to work on. So we catch and store energy, and that's carbon, water, and genetic information, and other forms of information. So every system is going to be rich in those kinds of stores, and the more you have of them, the more life you can have, the more actions you can have. The aim here is action, in the sense of living action. And then principle number 3 is to get a yield, which means we have to eat, we have to be fed, we have to be paid, for this isn't all altruistic. Yes, we're helping to restore nature. Yes, we're building up resilience economies for the sake of everyone in our community. But we're also getting our own needs now. Food, energy, water, shelter, company, good work. All those things need to be coming out of the home economy first, the neighbourhood and community economy second, and only at a distant third out of the global economy. So the symbol here is a horse. And some cultures eat horse flesh, but most cultures use the horse for services. That's just one way in which nature provides services. The biggest service nature provides is it keeps the planet relatively stable in temperature at levels of oxygen and all these things. The atmosphere and the oceans do that. But we've taken that for granted, and waste gases and waste chemicals and everything. And now those systems are stuttering and faltering and not being as effective as they've been. So the conditions for life are being threatened. But at every level that's going on, we need to recognize that those services are valuable. And that's our fifth principle right there. Energy cycling waste. Not to make no waste, turn waste into food. As the fundamental don't waste anything, don't throw away anything that could be consumed by some other organism. Now this whole cycle is a big in breath. This is like study of nature. Get in the program. Dance to nature's dance. Learn the rhythm. Move with nature. By learning natural systems logic, we can apply it in patterns over the broader landscape, over our systems, our home systems, radiating out from the home, through the garden, all the way out to the edge of wild nature. Start from the big pattern, and then work down by layers to details. Big picture thinking, bottom-up action. Integrate. Think about all the functions. Everything has B multiple functions. Anything you have around you should have at least 3 functions. And fourth function is beauty. If you can't think of 3 things that it can do, don't have it. It's not worth it. How do you get systems to work efficiently on a small scale? You can't have 1, 2, or 3 separated jobs. You have to have a set of tools that can do all the work you need to do. Same thing with plants and animals and structures. So we integrate them together. Too small and slow solutions. That's our 7th principle. By integrating, we can do things on a smaller scale and get higher yields, get more feedback, get more payoff. Small steps are easy to make, and when you blunder, they're easier to recover from. And for the most part, it matters because we know we're going somewhere we've never been. Our culture has never been where we need to go. We've really never been there. People at different times in past have lived somewhat like this in balance with their environments. But not at the technical level that we have now, not as postmodern people who don't have those skills and who don't have those cultural patterns and have to reclaim them from our great-grandparents long gone and their stories in our memories from books, from people who are experimenting from our own experiments, from theory that we test, and maybe it works, all these areas from science. We need all that. We have to make a lot of mistakes, and we have to learn from them rapidly. And so the safest and best way to do that is by taking small steps. So take heart. Small and slow solutions give rise to diversity, and we work it. And the work part here is key. It's not just a matter of collecting a whole bunch of stuff. It's a matter of what really produces for you.